Let's take a trip to the small village of Norsewood in southern Hawke's Bay now and pop into an old-fashioned blacksmith's forge on the main street. About 350 people live in the settlement, tucked away off State Highway 2, and many have a proud connection to Norway. In fact, they were just about to celebrate Norway Constitution Day when I dropped in on the Norseman blacksmith Jamie Hughes. His ties to Norway also run deep.
I was born here in Norsewood, but grew up in Hawke's Bay. My mother's Norwegian and my father is descendant of the original Norsewood settlers. So my four-time great-grandfather was on the Hovding. So my plot of land, or the family plot of land, is still down the bottom there.
And the Hovding was the original immigrant ship that came out?
That's correct. Yeah, the first load of Norwegians that came to found Norsewood was the Hovding, 1872.
How does that make you feel, being so connected to this place?
Good. Funnily enough, I only just found this out in the last 6 months. Didn't know my father's history. Always known Mum's Norwegian. Mum's very proud of her Norwegian heritage. My father has never had an interest in pursuing his genetics, so I went digging, and I found out about 6 months ago that he's descendant, and the family name was Johansson. So quite interesting and surprising, and it explains why I am, I guess, personally a proud Norwegian as well. I've always had this, not sense of not belonging in New Zealand, but I've always had this feeling I need to get overseas and travel, and like a seafarer, I guess. And I do feel home here in Norsewood.
Now you have your small business here as well. You're a blacksmith by trade?
Not by trade, self-taught. So I took an interest in it a number of years ago, 16 years ago now. And it was a hobby for a long, long time. And then a few years ago I decided that I wanted to make a go of it as a business. So I spent the last 3 years sort of growing and promoting the business and put staff on, and they're learning. So the Gateway student here who's loving blacksmithing, Jar, who's been with me for 18 months, learning and developing his skill set. He's come a long, long way.
We're just basically manipulating the steel into a hook.
And that's Jar Menzies-Winson at the forge.
We'll be riveting this side through into a back plate, having an S supporting it from the bottom.
Also a proud Norsewood local.
Mum's Scottish, Gaelic and Dad's Norwegian.
Your heritage is very much connected to this area.
Yeah, it definitely feels like home. Yeah. People around here definitely help as well. They're very accepting. Yeah, some of the nicest people I've ever met.
And have you always been a blacksmith yourself?
Well, I started on stock removal, meaning I used to grind steel away to make combat weapons for medieval reenactment. And then I met Jamie at the Viking Festival and asked him how to get into things traditionally. And lucky for me, he gifted me my first forge, sent me on my way for a few years, and then gave me a message saying that he needed help with the shop. So I moved up, and here I am.
By the sound of things, it's not a dying trade.
We're a bit of a dying breed, but it's coming back, fortunately. A lot of people are staying away from mass production items and wanting some quality and handcrafted stuff.
And you even have a student with you today.
Yes, Huber. He's doing extremely well. He's been with me for 5-6 weeks now. Comes in once a week, and he's learning the ropes. Yeah, 16.
16?
Yeah.
And are you keen on becoming a blacksmith yourself? Don't know.
He's still in his early stages, but he's picked it up extremely fast.
Well, I'll let you get back to your job. You're also one of the people involved in the Viking Festival here in Norsewood.
Yeah, correct. It's just an event we run here to sort of celebrate Norwegian heritage. It sort of ties in with the Norsewood theme. So being Norwegian, we have that proud Viking ancestry, and we like to sort of promote that. And by starting the event, or when Eva sort of brought the idea to the table and we sort of grew this festival, it went from what was supposed to be a small market type event to the 7,000 visitor event, which was really unexpected. But I guess it's a fun family weekend. You know, we do axe throwing and archery and reenactment, and there's 60 odd stalls every year and food. It's a great weekend out. People dress up and come have a lot of fun.
Is there a growing interest in the Viking culture?
Oh, absolutely.
Why is that?
Mainly, I think it's because of the Vikings TV series. It glamorised Viking life, and it actually painted it in a better light than what people believe Vikings were. There's always been Vikings, rapists and pillagers, and that was it, which was part of the history. But there was more to them than that. They were farmers. They were normal people that were struggling, that needed to survive. So they went out and they looked for new lands, and it's a really, really neat culture. And the deeper you look into it, the better it gets.
What else are you involved with here?
Try not to be involved with too much, but I am the chairman of the Norsewood Promotions Group. So we organise local events and promoting 17th of May, which is coming up on Sunday, Norwegian Constitution Day. So we celebrate that here every year. We do a parade and a market, and we're doing a cake competition this year, a bake-off. Cemetery tours and museum tours, just once again celebrating Norsewood's woods roots.
Do many visitors from Scandinavia pass through? Are they intrigued by the place?
Absolutely. I mean, you're actually quite surprised at how many Norwegians and Swedes and Finnish people stop in Norsewood. They see Norsewood on the road and they're, what the hell is this? And they come in, they look around, and they can spend hours wandering around. I would say we probably get 5 to 10 Norwegians every week. I think it's more passing through. They're travelling New Zealand because we are a tourist country, and they see the Norsewood sign, and it's a place they've got to stop because, once again, Norwegians are very proud, and they see something Norse, they've got to have a look.
And they won't be disappointed if they come in here with all the decorative metalwork, knives and Viking-related paraphernalia on display. In the corner there's a Norwegian family heirloom, a tall, handsome-looking stove that looks a little bit different from your average Kiwi-style log burner.
It's very decorative, sort of got a crown on the top. You can look it up, it's called an Ulefoss oven. They're solid cast. They weigh, well, this one in particular weighs about 600 kilos. It's 162 years old. It was installed in the relative's family home in Norway. It was damaged in the war, so when the Germans occupied Norway, it got damaged with the explosions, got stored for many, many years. My auntie found it in 2004 and had it restored, and she used it for 10 years. And then in 2014 she brought it to New Zealand.
And can you tell me something about your knives? That's a bit of a specialty of yours?
It is, yes. So the main thing I do here is, well, we do here is make knives. And we can make anything from a very basic general purpose bushcraft knife for daily use, right through to hand-forged Damascus chef knives. We do a lot of commission work, so we'll take custom builds on where you bring your specs into me and we can build to your style. So that way you get a piece that's an heirloom piece, it's yours as you want it for the rest of your life. As well as we send knives all over the world. I sell knives to Norway, America, Canada, Europe.
But this niche rural business is feeling the flow-on effects of tough economic times, like many in rural New Zealand.
I feel it right across the board. So I sell knives to chefs, which is a hospitality trade, which has got in a downturn currently. I sell knives to dairy farmers and sheep farmers, and they're struggling at the moment, so they're not spending, as well as the tourist market. So across all three sectors there's a downturn, and so I'm feeling it from all angles at the moment. We're not a necessity. I mean, the economy is struggling. We're in a recession. People just don't have that spare money to be able to buy luxury items, and knives unfortunately are a luxury item. I think people, when I see it, people are struggling. They're struggling to pay day-to-day bills, and that has a flow-on effect to myself. We're going to downscale and get back to our roots, make it more of a hobby. We'll still open on Sundays for tourists and people to come and have a look and see what we're doing, but we're going to be mostly online. So we will readdress it in summer. Once there's a bit more confidence in the market and the tourists come back, we'll look at opening the doors again.
Have you noticed a drop-off in tourism here locally?
Absolutely, yep. People are still mulling around, but they're not spending. They're still moving, they're still there, not in the same numbers they were last year, but they're keeping their wallets close to their chest.
How does that affect the mood of the town?
It's a little hard to gauge. I mean, not having the people in the town, it does make it seem a little bit ghost town-like during the week. You can walk out of the main street, there's not a single car or human in sight. And it does feel a little bit isolated, but then that's kind of why we're here in the first place, for that peace and quiet.
So it's pretty tough, everyone's feeling it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've mulled over it for nearly 6 months to make this decision. It's been a really, really tough decision to make. but it's something we have to do, unfortunately.
Are there any other businesses that are closing or have closed down?
Not that I'm aware of locally. I was in Masterton last week, I was in Palmerston this week, and every second shop is empty. There's a lot of small businesses closed down. I think I looked on Company's Office a couple of weeks ago, and 360 businesses liquidated last month. So that just shows how bad it is out there.
How long had you been going?
I've had the shop trading for 3 years. I traded through COVID, I survived COVID, I survived everything thrown at me until the interest rate hikes. That's what's killed me. The cost of living is just, it's so high now. It's a
And
shame.
raw materials?
Steel costs are up, fuel costs are up, but we run an LPG forge. They've gone from $30 to $50 a bottle. And we've burned 2 bottles making Damascus. Mortgage payments are up. So I own the property here, and my mortgage payments are up significantly, and it all has that flow-on effect. It's just, we got to play the waiting game. As you see it throughout life, there's these ups and downs in our economy, and this is just another down.
And I was talking there to Jamie Hughes, the Norseman blacksmith. He's still taking commissions and selling online, and you can visit the blacksmiths on Sundays or by appointment. Jamie's looking forward to another celebration of all things Viking at the Norsewood Viking Festival in February next year. Next time, we're back in Norsewood at the Norseware factory, a business which has seen its ups and downs, but still remains very connected to the local community.